The most destabilizing thing you can do in a dysfunctional system is not to fight it, it's to outgrow it. Nobody warned you that growth has a blast radius. Not the motivational speakers, not the self-help books, not the people who told you to just focus on yourself, like that wouldn't quietly ruin someone else's entire coping mechanism. Because the truth is, some systems don't collapse from attack, they collapse from irrelevance. And you didn't walk in with a plan to shake the room, you just changed, that's it. No announcement, no dramatic exit, no grand reveal. You adjusted your life, your standards, your energy, and somewhere else a group chat caught fire. Here's a fact most people don't talk about. Social structures depend on predictability more than honesty. Psychologists have observed that when a person suddenly becomes non-reactive, self-directed, and emotionally unavailable for manipulation, it triggers the same stress response in others as an actual loss of control. In plain language, when people can't push your buttons anymore, their nervous system panics. That's when the overreactions start, the side comments, the weird behavior, the sudden obsession with what you're doing, who you're with, and why you're not playing your old role anymore. And the funny part, truly funny in a dark, ironic way, is that you weren't even trying to be disruptive. You didn't expose secrets. You didn't flip tables. You didn't prove them wrong. You simply stopped leaking energy into spaces that thrived on your confusion. You became inconveniently stable, calm in a way that can't be baited, focused in a way that doesn't need applause. That's when the meltdown began. Not because you did too much, but because you stopped doing what benefited everyone else. What you're watching now isn't drama. It's withdrawal. It's people realizing the version of you they built their expectations around no longer exists, and they forgot to plan for that. So they spiral, they overreact, they laugh too loud, talk too much, and pretend not to care while caring more than ever. All because you accidentally walked off the stage they were still performing on. And that's where this gets interesting. Because when someone melts down over your quiet growth, it's not about you at all. It's about the system that needed you small, predictable, and available. You didn't expose them. Your existence did. What really shook people wasn't anything you said or did. It was the simple fact that you kept living, growing, and showing up without carrying the shame they quietly assigned to you. You didn't call a meeting. You didn't clear your name. You didn't defend your past. You just kept existing in a way that no longer matched the story they told themselves about you. And that's what made it unbearable. When someone's narrative depends on you staying a certain way, your evolution feels like a personal attack, even when it has nothing to do with them. A lot of people think exposure happens through confrontation or truth bombs. It doesn't. Real exposure happens when your life becomes evidence, when you're still standing, still functioning, still becoming more grounded, more focused, more self-directed. Your stability quietly contradicts every excuse they used to justify how they treated you or what they believed about you. They can't argue with that. They can't discredit it without looking unreasonable. So instead, they unravel. What makes this especially uncomfortable for them is that you didn't demand accountability. You didn't ask for an apology. You didn't even ask to be understood. You moved on without dragging them into your next chapter, and that removed their chance to control the outcome. People can handle being challenged. What they struggle with is being rendered irrelevant to the story altogether. There's also something deeply unsettling about someone who refuses to perform their pain anymore. When you stop explaining yourself, stop oversharing, stop reliving what hurt you just to make others comfortable, it forces them to sit with their own role in things. That's when defensiveness kicks in. That's when you see emotional reactions that don't match the situation. The truth is, your existence became a mirror, not because you tried to reflect anything back at them, but because mirrors don't need intention to reveal what's there. They just show it. You didn't expose them by pointing fingers. You exposed them by becoming proof, that the version of reality they relied on no longer holds up. And once that happens, the meltdown isn't about you at all. It's about the collapse of a lie they were never ready to let go of.